Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Homeowner Clarity session. I'm Sabrina, and I'm glad you're taking a little time tonight to understand your numbers clearly. My approach is very simple. I work with a transparent, clear, clarity approach when it comes down to things. We slow things down, we remove the noise, and actually make decisions that fit your life. So we'll go ahead and get started. Can also follow along here and share my screen. There we go. Okay. Just getting used to this and just want to make sure we're on task here. All right. About me. So I've been in finance since 2008, right when the market crashed, the mortgage market. I was a bank teller, worked across many different companies and different markets as well. I work independently now, so I can take that calm and transparent free approach or transparent approach. No pressure, no rushing, just clarity when it comes down to it. I also created my own homeowner tools to help people calculate equity, payments, and timing without all the overwhelm. Because I worked in cold calling and I still do cold calling, I realize people are very busy. I realize that it's not only always the most convenient time to talk, and for me too, as well, sometimes times aren't convenient. So I'm a millennial mom, boy mom, and this is the whole reason why I had created this business and just to slow things down even before you start and you get on the phone here. Okay. I also built some clarity tools when it comes down to equity, finding out your equity, figuring out a break even if you're looking at a refinance, also amortization. And I operate with a calm and educated mindset. All right. So this is just a brief of what we're going to cover today. We're going to go ahead and look at what equity actually is, how it grows, and when tapping into it makes sense, when it's better to wait, a short live walkthrough of my tools, and two real life examples. Alrighty, so we'll go ahead and get started. So, what is equity? Equity is simply your home's value minus what you owe on the home. So this can be the mortgage. If you have any home equity loans, home equity lines, that's going to be deducted out. If you have solar panels, that will be deducted out as well, or other liens on the home. There can be down payment liens on the home as well. So just be very cautious when you're looking into a refinance. You got to kind of think of these things if you're considering taking some cash out or just refinancing in general. Okay. All right. So it does represent ownership, and once you see it clearly, the rest of your decisions get easier, right? How equity grows. There are three main ways that equity grows. Market appreciation being one of them. So as the market goes up, especially if you live in certain areas that are changing, when it comes down to it, some areas are getting busier. For example, I'm located in the Downriver area, which is about 20 to 25 minutes away from Detroit. Detroit is up and coming and definitely could see that flowing down to my area as well. So the market will appreciate. Obviously, there's other factors involved too. I always say get your realtor involved if you are wanting to exactly see, what the home's going to be, maybe in a forecast from years from now or whatnot, or months from now, because they might have some really good insight on things too. Um, yeah, the market appreciates. Home values tend to go up. A second way would be paying down your loan. So your equity grows as you pay down your loan. So simply by making your monthly payments, your equity is actually growing. Okay. Because the mortgage balance is going down. If you choose to put a lump sum towards the mortgage, or if you choose to do biweekly payments or have something extra go towards the mortgage, a set mortgage extra principal payment, that will actually help as well. Also, home improvements. So, home improvements that truly add value. Um, Typically, this includes the major items, not anything like standard. Like, having a new roof is great, but sometimes that's just a standard that appraisers look for. So sometimes that does not always add value or whatnot. So just be cautious. Always ask a realtor. They will know. Even if you do nothing, like I said, regular payments that you're making are building your ownership. All right. All right. Some common questions that I've come across. So these are the three questions that I hear most often. Should I refinance? Should I do a home equity line of credit? Should I consolidate debt? Should I move or should I stay? There isn't a one size fits all to this answer, but there is a clear way to understand what's going to make the most sense for you. All right. All right. So, I'm gonna go ahead and introduce you to my tools here. So I built tools that calculate and can help make these decisions a little bit easier for you and also a little cleaner when it comes to the math. Your equity, your break-even timeline, payment changes, and amortization, all in a really simple layout. So I'll show you a quick walkthrough on how they work. And just to confirm, I'm not selling at all by all means. This is simply some information so that way you can make a nice, calm decision. And I believe everybody should have access to. I truly believe that, there's an easier way. You can do your research by yourself, and I'm here to help you in that process. So, with all my years of experience, expertise, and explaining this so many times to people, so I created these tools here. All right, let me go through. All right, so we'll go ahead and pull up that first. All right, so here is my equity tool. All you need is your home value and your loan balance. It breaks down your ownership, your timing, and your options instantly. So let me give you a quick example here. So let's say your home value is 300,000. All right. So home value 300,000 and we'll say you owe, let's say 115 on the mortgage balance. And let's say when you first purchased the home, you put down 5,000, you were able to finance that with a second lien on the home added, or if maybe even a first lien on the home added. Um, Typically, home equity loans will sit on a second lien status. That's why I said that automatically. But if you have a down payment that you had financed in the very beginning, where so sometimes this can be part of those first time home buyers things that can be part of it. So, but yeah, so we'll say you're there. So as you can see here, your mortgage balance plus your lien. So this is the 115 plus your 5,000. You could see that right here with the dark green. All right. And your available equity is down here, 120,000. So that's the equity that is available, assuming 80% LTV. So just to keep you in the loop here, just really quickly, loan to value is typically most lenders will use 80%. Veterans, they tend to get a little bit more, 90% or 100%, just because those type of loans are a little different. Now, it's a case by case basis. You need to talk to a loan officer. You need to talk to your lender to actually look at your specific situation. But this can aid and help in research things before you even start that process. All right, because there's multiple factors. Loans, I always say they work like a puzzle. There's multiple little pieces, including credit score, debt to income, your loan to value, which is right here you can estimate, and you want to be super accurate on that home value because that'll play a part. Most refinances do require an appraisal. Sometimes we're able to waive things here and there, just depending. But yeah, so you definitely want to do some research when it comes down to it. Actually, it's funny because I always say, like, to my son, if he's looking at something he wants to buy at the store and he's really like wanting it right away just because it's there, I tell him, give it 24 hours. I'm a big fan of the 24-hour rule. So I say, give it 24 hours. If you still want it, we'll come back. If not, no worries. So I cannot tell you with his Christmas funds that he was able to do. He wanted to spend his money on everything. But yeah, it was so funny because the next day, 24 hours went by. I was like, do you still want this? And he was like, no, I changed my mind. So the thing is, we never want to rush these decisions because they require a lot of thought because equity, once you use it, it's one of those things that you have to think about the future with, what's going to happen, what's going to come up, what kind of expenses am I going to have? Because if you take it now versus later, I mean, you just want to consider all these things when you're going to move, if you are going to move, or if this is a forever home. And this is exactly why I created these tools to help homeowners better plan things. And I understand retirement, um, and everything in life changes. So I really want to be there to help as a resource. All right. So just for example here, we'll go back to it. So you can see the available equity is 120,000. Okay. And this is just simply the equity that you would still have in the home. So typically this is the other 20%, whereas most lenders will not go above that 80% threshold. Some lenders do, more common in the VA loans, for sure, from what I've seen. So you can always calculate different things here and there. But if you see the 90%, so say if there's a veteran, they would have a little bit more access here, so 150,000. Um, yeah, we'll go back to the slides here. All right, all right, perfect. So, um, let's see. So we went over the equity here, timing, and just making sure that you know all your options, and it can help with peace of mind too if you just want to see where you're at with everything and you don't really really want to do anything or make a move now, it's always good to check in and see. Um, all right. So we'll go over another quick example here. Um, this time I will do, oops, sorry about that. There's an amortization, and then there's my break even. So, um, right, just kind of showing you those. But this time we'll do a different balance here. So we'll say your home value is, um, we'll say 500,000. One too many zeros. And you owe, let's see, 350. I have too many zeros once again. Okay. So we'll take out the liens here. We'll pretend that all we have is the mortgage. We'll go back to 80% loan to value. This is just a target loan to value, which it's automatically 80%, but you can always change that if you're a veteran and kind of play around with things. All right, so if you look at this, this is going to look a lot different. So 500,000, 350. Okay, sorry, I'm toggling between a couple different screens here. And all right, perfect. So all right, I just have to make sure my zeros. I might want to add a comma in there in my equity tools. Coding is very hard, it turns out. So my home value here is 500,000. I owe 350. So I would have available equity of 50,000 if I was looking to do anything. Now, just keep in mind this is educational only. Also, as well, there are closing costs that are incurred with refinancing. This includes your escrow, your insurance, like re-supplementing these two accounts with 6 months worth of payments. And then also there are some closing costs, there's title work, and there's also title work and then appraisal, things like that. So there's multiple factors that come into play. So you're going to want to allocate some of this towards closing cost. Okay. But yeah, just keeping things pretty simple here. Um, all right. All right. So let's see. So we went over scenario one. I also created a break even as well calculator. I showed it to you very quickly where you can actually plug in those closing costs and see how many months it is going to take you to recoup the savings, so the monthly savings. So that way you know if it is even going to make sense to you. Now, what might make sense to you might not make sense to somebody else. So that's why I created also an amortization schedule. So that way you can look at the amortization where the loan's going to be at in X amount of years. So that way you know what the home value is. I mean, even just in case you sell. But we all do things for different reasons, and some things might be a high priority to you, some things might not. So it's always good to consider different opportunities and different ways you can do things. And this is why I created. So let's see, especially when it comes to paying off debt, because sometimes, we have so much that we're paying in our monthly debt where you can actually save some really big money by, even if you're at a lower interest rate and you don't want to get out of that interest rate. I mean, we break our payments to a monthly amount, not the interest rate. So right now, the cost of living is crazy high. I'm sure you've seen it. And sometimes we need every little bit we can get every month. So having that monthly savings versus the interest rate really helps. And you can also cut down on that interest in the loan by simply making extra payments. So you're not realistically paying that rate. You're going to be paying less in the interest in the loan. All right. Just bear with me. I got sinuses right now, but I'm pushing through it. All right. So consider the long-term goals. Consider comfort, timing. You always want to make sure you're very comfortable with these decisions because they can be very overwhelming, especially on the phone if you're very pressured to make a move forward. I don't operate that way. I want to operate in the way that you prefer and at your pace too. Okay. That's why I created this. Um, all right. See, I'm here to slow down the noise, help you to figure out and how to know your numbers. Make sure that I'm helping you to align with your goals, all the goals you have, the pros and the cons. Calm clarity is always better than rushing, in my opinion. I don't like to make really fast decisions. If somebody is pressuring me, to me, that is a red flag. I will not move forward. So I like to take my time with things and just consider all the good and then all the bad. So, yeah. But if you want help running your numbers, I am licensed in Michigan, Florida, and Texas right now. I offer a very calm, free, and a clear approach when it comes down to things. So I am not going to hold you accountable to anything. Just let me know your timeline, and I'm here to help. But yeah, you can book through email, text. You can use the link that I have. I have multiple links out there. Just reach out. I'm on Broker Near Me as well, and I'll be happy to walk you through it. Since I have put so many scenarios together, and I've closed so many loans too in the past, so still closing loans as well. And I appreciate you being here tonight. Um, yeah, I hope everybody has a great evening. Thank you for tuning in.